appetit, bitch. Today on Outside the Box Reviews, we're taking a look at the Mezco Cinema of Fear Series 3 Freddy Krueger figure from A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, The Dream Child. And by about wave 3 here in the Cinema of Fear line, we kinda knew what we were getting each time Mezco cranked out some more figures. Unlike lines like the movie Maniacs line from McFarlane and the cult classics from NECA, Mezco basically had 3 notes, and those were Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Nothing wrong with that, they produced some great figures in this time, but it was a little predictable. There'd be one of each main villain from the series. You get a Freddy, a Jason, and a Leatherface, and then there would be some wild card piece that was an additional character from one of those franchises. But when this figure came out, it was not one that I was super excited to pick up. I passed on him several times in stores. I didn't really even think about getting him until basically the only option of getting him was to pay quite a bit on the secondary market, which I wasn't looking forward to doing. But I managed to get this in a lot that I found on the Mezco forums back in the day, where somebody was selling a bunch of Cinema of Fear figures for $5 a piece. So I was able to put together a lot of missing pieces to my collection off of that seller. Let's jump right in and take a look at Freddy. Mezco gave us a little baby Freddy, a little gross latex puppet looking newborn Freddy. It's all kind of coiled up there. You got the umbilical cord coming out. It's all kind of one color except for his eyes. But it's decent looking. I mean, the puppet was kind of nasty and gross looking, and this little figure is pretty nasty and gross looking. It works well enough. Now, it's from a different scene in the movie, but we can kind of compare it to the more recent NECA version, and obviously the NECA version is a lot more detailed, a lot more screen accurate, but seeing as this is the newborn and this is kind of a little bit after, they kind of work together in a weird way. And this also was kind of a weird wave because we got baby gross Freddy, and the Jason Goes to Hell figure was in this wave and came with baby little demon Jason thing. Mezco has always had a weird lack of consistency with their Freddy sculpt. Some of them are very good, some of them are very bad. I think this is actually one of the better ones they've done. I really like the look of it. They got some great detailing in with the scars on his face, very deep, very sunken in. Got a very mischievous look. I like the smiling face to him. His teeth are sticking out there, actually looking a lot like the Freddy dentures and less like real teeth. His eyes are well painted in there. The skin is maybe a little on the dark side, but not bad. His eyes are looking slightly to the side, which is a problem with me with some figures, but this figure's static enough that it's not a huge deal to me. He's got his white chef's hat here, which is decently detailed, no real paint on it, but it is sculpted well, and that is removable. So then we can see all the detail on Freddy's head here. Very nicely done. Got his little bow tie, which carries on the classic sweater colors, as well as the ruffles at the front of his shirt. Shirt's pretty basic. There's no paint shading on this white shirt at all, any of the white parts here. So it really kind of comes up looking a little flat, unfortunately, but it's supposed to be a white shirt, so there's worse things, I guess. He's got his red sash down here, his plain old black pants, shoes at the bottom, which are sculpted well, but there's no paint detail on them whatsoever. He does have peg holes at the bottom of his feet, and the sign that I will forever know that this was from that $5 set is that he's got super glue stuck to the bottom of his feet, because whoever owned him must have glued him down. On his left hand, we can actually see it is a glove, a white glove, which is kind of nice, fits the character, fits the costume. You can actually see it pulled away here at the sleeve and the detail of the burnt flesh underneath. I didn't even realize he actually has a little button painted onto his shirt, which is a nice touch. On the other side, we have his classic glove, and this is a very sinister looking glove. This specific scene, this specific death scene, he had a kind of a spoon attached to it, which you see here. He was force feeding someone their own guts, but there's not a lot of paint detail on the glove. Once again, just kind of a dark gray plastic with some brown in there, so it really could have been brightened up and made it look a little more movie accurate in that respect, but the claws are very wicked looking. I like the blood dripping down. There's actually a little droplet about to fall there. Nothing in the spoon itself, but just nice and bloody, and of course you could see the hand in the hole in the middle of the glove. Now, this figure did originally come with an extra hand that you could pop this one out and put another white gloved hand on, but that never came with mine just because it was a used figure, and quite honestly, I don't think I would ever use it. So I'm perfectly happy just having the glove. For articulation, Freddy's head is on a ball joint, so you can go forward and back, up and down. Very free range of movement on it. Arms are on a pin socket joint. They can go in and out very little because of the way it's sculpted, and it can go forward and back very easily though. There's a hinge at the elbow, bends about 45 degrees. The wrist will rotate as well as hinge forward and back, which I really like those Mezco hinges that they use for the hands. His waist is on a ball joint, so you could lean forward, back. You turn a little bit side to side, but he's sculpted kind of in an oval shape, so he doesn't really get a whole lot of rotation going on. You definitely can lean him forward and back and kind of give him some character by doing that. And as with any Mezco figure after Series 1, he is a statue from the waist down. And just for a quick comparison, for anyone wondering, here he is next to the NECA Dream Child Freddy. And kind of comparing apples and oranges here because they are two completely different costumes for Freddy. But you can see they stand about the same height, which is pretty good if you're trying to keep them all in continuity. The Mezco one is a bit larger just across the chest and everything. Mezco's is a little more on the skinny side. But beyond that, I think they could work together in your collection. Overall, this figure is good. There's nothing really bad about it. It's another one of those figures I'm going to give a weak recommend to. There's nothing about this figure that I think screams you must have it, but I think it's good enough for a horror fan to have in their collection. To me, this isn't a very memorable death. Hell, Dream Child's probably one of my least favorite of the Nightmare films, so it kind of loses some points right there. But you have to give Mezco credit for doing original sculpts every time with these Freddy figures. Obviously, NECA's decision to go with a classic pants, sweater Freddy every single time with their line is based on money. It's very expensive to tool up a brand new body for every figure. And the only reason we've gotten so many NECA figures in that line is just because they can recycle things. And it's not as much of a tooling cost each time. But back when things were cheaper to make, it's kind of nice in retrospect to see that Mezco was able to do it this way instead. They did the one original Nightmare Freddy in his sweater, and beyond that, we just got all these crazy incarnations of Krueger. Make sure you check me out on Instagram, username Outside the Box Reviews. Also follow me on Facebook, link below. And until next time, this has been another Outside the Box Reviews. Stay tuned for more to come.